Last example for Chapter 5, Lesson 2. We're going to do another example of finding the coordinates of the orthocenter. Here are your steps again. Again, I go through these a little bit more extensively in the last video, so if you need a refresher on those, please go check out that video again. Mainly, you're going to have to find the slope of a side, the perpendicular slope, and then write an equation of a line with the perpendicular slope and the opposite vertex. And then you can, once you do that twice, you can find the intersection point. So the example that we're going to take a look at is this one right here. Okay, so I graphed it already. Give ourselves a nice picture, right? We're going to start by finding the slope of, let's start with AC. Okay, you can pick any side. So I'm going to find the slope of this side first. So steps, and I'm going to do a few of them right in a row so I don't get confused. So I'm going to do steps 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to find slope first. That's step 2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to go y2 first. Let's go 6 minus 0 over 0 minus 4, which will come out to 6 over negative 4, which is a slope of negative 3/2. Step 3 now is to find the perpendicular slope, which, to find the perpendicular slope, is the opposite reciprocal. So in this case, we're going to go with a positive 2/3. And then it has to go through the opposite vertex. This will be step 4. We need to use the perpendicular slope along with the opposite vertex, which in this case, opposite to this side, is going to be coordinate B. So I'm going to use the coordinate negative 2, 4. Again, I noticed that that is not the y-intercept, so I need to use point slope form, which looks like this. And then we're going to plug in our point and our slope, solve it into slope-intercept form. So we've got y minus 4, which equals our slope, and then x minus negative 2. If we simplify this, we're going to get y minus 4 equals 2/3 x, minus negative is a plus, this is going to get us a value of 4/3. Okay, and then the last step is going to be to add 4 over. So when I add 4 over, that's going to give me y equals 2/3 x plus, again, in order to add fractions, I need a common denominator. So I need to change 4, which is really over 1, into a denominator of 3 because of this one. And I multiply top and bottom by 3, that will give me 12. So I'm going to add on a 12/3 out of this, which should now get me a value of 16/3. Now I'm going to star that equation. Okay, then I got to do the process over again. So we're going to go back. We're going to do steps 2, 3, and 4 again. And I'm going to say, let's just find the slope of this side next, AB. So finding slope, we're going to go y2 minus y1. Write that out again, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. With my coordinates, I'm going to write them out for us. They are at 4, 0, and they are at negative 2, 4. So now I've got 4 minus 0 over negative 2 minus 4, which will get me 4 over negative 6, which will simplify to a fraction of negative 2/3. Step 3 now is to find the perpendicular slope off of the slope that you just found. Opposite reciprocal should give me a positive 3/2. And then we can move on to step 4. We need to find the opposite vertex. So if I'm dealing with this side again, my opposite vertex has to be point C, which is 0, 6. This point is even nicer yet because 0, 6 does represent a y-intercept. I do have a point that is in the form of 0, anything, which means that I can go straight into my slope-intercept form, which will get me then y equaling 3/2 x plus 6. We're going to star that one. And now we're on to the last step here. So now we can go to step 5. We're going to use y equals 3/2 x plus 6 and y equaling, I don't remember what it is, I got to go back up, 2/3 x plus 16/3. We need to find the point of intersection now. So I'm going to take and set those two equal to each other. So I've got 3/2 x plus 6 equal to 2/3 x plus 16/3. We got lots of fractions going on here, so we need to get some common denominators going. I'm going to first suggest let's subtract 2/3 x on both sides. And I'm going to need to switch both of these. Okay? So we're going to change 3/2 and we're going to change 2/3 out of this. And I want to get them to have a common denominator. That's going to be 6. So multiplying, this is going to get me 9. So I'm taking that 3 times 3 on top and bottom. This one's going to get top and bottom by 2, which will now get me 4/6. I started with a positive 3/2, and I was subtracting away 2/3, so I'm going to put a minus sign there. We're going to subtract those. So 9/6 minus 4/6 should now get me 5/6 x equal to, and now it looks like we're going to have to do about the same thing. I need to subtract 6, subtract 6. My common denominator out of this one is going to be 3. So 16/3 can stay, but I need to take a negative 6/1 and change that to a denominator of 3. So times top and bottom by 3, it's going to get me 18/3. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to replace this minus 6. That way I know I'm just subtracting now 18/3 from that. And that will give me a negative 2/3. Last step, you may either divide by 5/6 or multiply by the reciprocal. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, so I'm going to have times 6/5 on both sides. This will leave me with just x. And now on the other side, that's going to get me, looks to be, about negative, let's multiply it out, negative 12/15. But I notice that that has a value of 3 in both of them, so negative 12 divided by 3 is going to give me negative 4. 15 divided by 3 is going to give me 5. So there's your x value. We also need to find a y. We're going to come back up to the top. You can pick either one. I personally would go with the top one. I don't think it's not going to matter too much, honestly. So let's go 3/2 y equals 3/2 times negative 4/5, and then it was, I believe, plus 6. We're when you multiply and add that all up, you are going to get a fraction of, looks to be 24 fifths. So now your orthocenter, your point of intersection between your two altitudes, is going to be negative 4 fifths, comma, 24 fifths. And there's your final answer.